It is common practice for licensed electricians to utilize helpers or apprentices on job sites. The core principle is that the licensed electrician assumes responsibility for the work performed, even if they are not physically present at all times. Adequate supervision is key. This means the licensed electrician should provide clear instructions, regularly check the progress of the work, and ensure that the work meets all applicable codes and standards. In the presented scenario, it appears the supervision was inadequate, leading to errors identified during the electrical inspection. When hiring an electrician, firstly, it is crucial to verify their license and insurance. Secondly, obtain a written contract that clearly outlines the scope of work to be performed and the agreed-upon price. This contract should protect both parties and prevent misunderstandings about the project requirements and costs. Thirdly, it is important to communicate your expectations to the electrician. Fourthly, ask for clarification on anything you don't understand. Fifthly, request a certificate of inspection upon completion of the work. This document verifies that the electrical installation has been inspected and meets the required safety standards. If deficiencies are found during an inspection, the electrician is responsible for correcting them promptly and at no additional cost, provided the issues fall within the original scope of the contract. In the event of unsatisfactory work or billing disputes, firstly, communicate your concerns directly with the licensed electrician, clearly outlining the issues and the desired resolution. Secondly, document all communications, including dates, times, and the content of the conversations. Thirdly, if the electrician is unresponsive or unwilling to address your concerns, you can file a formal complaint with the state licensing board. The licensing board has the authority to investigate complaints against licensed electricians and take disciplinary action, which could include fines, suspension, or revocation of their license. To file a complaint, you will typically need to provide detailed information about the project, the issues encountered, and any supporting documentation such as contracts, invoices, and inspection reports. The licensing board will review your complaint and conduct an investigation, which may involve interviewing witnesses and reviewing relevant documents. If the board finds that the electrician has violated the state's licensing laws, they will take appropriate disciplinary action. Regarding billing disputes, the contract should be the primary reference point. Any additional charges beyond the agreed-upon price should be clearly justified and documented. If the electrician cannot provide a reasonable explanation for the additional charges, you have the right to dispute them. In some cases, mediation or arbitration may be necessary to resolve billing disputes. Mediation involves a neutral third party who helps facilitate a discussion between you and the electrician to reach a mutually agreeable solution. Arbitration involves a neutral third party who reviews the evidence and makes a binding decision. The specific process for resolving disputes will vary depending on the state's laws and the terms of your contract. It is also important to understand the electrical code requirements for breakers and circuit protection. Breakers are designed to protect electrical circuits from overloads and short circuits. The size of the breaker should be appropriate for the size of the wire and the load it is serving. Using an incorrect breaker size can create a fire hazard. For example, if a circuit is wired with 12 American wide gauge wire, which is typically rated for 20 amps, a 50 amp breaker would not provide adequate protection. In the event of an overload, the wire could overheat and potentially start a fire before the 50 amp breaker trips. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, specifies the requirements for circuit protection. NEC Table 310.15b16 provides ampacity ratings for various wire sizes based on their insulation type and installation conditions. It is essential to consult the NEC and follow its guidelines when selecting breaker sizes and wiring methods. For air conditioning and heating units, the manufacturer's specifications typically indicate the required circuit amperage and maximum overcurrent protection. Installing a breaker that is too large can damage the equipment and create a safety hazard. In the described situation, the installation of a 50 amp breaker on a circuit requiring a 30 or a 40 amp breaker is a code violation and should be corrected immediately. Licensed electricians are responsible for ensuring that all electrical installations comply with the NEC and local codes. This includes selecting the correct breaker sizes, using appropriate wiring methods, and properly labeling circuits. When helpers or apprentices are used, the licensed electrician must ensure that they are properly trained and supervised to perform the work safely and correctly. Ultimately, the licensed electrician is responsible for the quality of the work performed under their license. Here is a further explanation of some common electrical terms. Amperage or amps is a unit of measure for electrical current, essentially the flow of electrons in a circuit. Voltage or volts is the electrical potential difference or pressure that drives the current through a circuit. Ohms are the unit of measurement for electrical resistance, which impedes the flow of current. A breaker is a safety device that automatically interrupts an electrical circuit when an overcurrent or short circuit is detected, preventing damage to equipment and reducing the risk of fire. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, is a widely adopted standard for the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment in the United States. American wire gauge, or AUG, is a standardized system for denoting the diameter of round, solid, non-ferrous, electrical wire. The lower the AWG number, the larger the wire diameter. Lastly, a certificate of inspection is a document issued by an electrical inspector verifying that an electrical installation meets the required safety standards and complies with the applicable electrical codes. Remember, electrical work is inherently dangerous and should only be performed by qualified and licensed professionals. If you are unsure about any aspect of your electrical system, consult with a licensed electrician. Furthermore, do not attempt to perform electrical work yourself unless you have the necessary training and experience. Working with electricity can be fatal if not done properly. Always prioritize safety and follow all applicable codes and regulations. And remember that a smooth experience with an electrician includes clear communication, a detailed contract, and proper verification of credentials and insurance. Following these steps can help protect you from potential problems and ensure that your electrical work is performed safely and correctly.